Good Wednesday morning, friends. Or I might say windy morning. I'm not sure why it is always windy when I decide to join you from outside. But it is, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of calm here these few moments together. It is indeed Wednesday morning. It is our time when we pause together to take a deep breath and to wonder together about our faith and how God is meeting us. For those that I don't know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, our Momentum and Discipleship pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville. And I'm actually in a park across the street from our church building. I'm looking out into our parking lot at church, but today it is absolutely beautiful weather, even if it is a bit windy. And I thought I would join you out here and allow you to hear those beautiful church bells ringing. Those are our church bells ringing for those who might not hear them on a regular basis. And it's a lovely thing to hear on this Wednesday morning. This is our time where we pause together and we ask, how are we seeing God at work in the world? Where is God meeting us? And as I was wondering about that for myself this week, I had God meet me in a really unexpected memory, and I thought I would share it with you. I was sitting on my front porch on Monday morning. We usually close our church office on the Monday after Easter to take some time to rest. And for me, that's also a time to process and allow the ideas and the experiences of Holy Week and Easter to develop and process in my heart and my mind and my soul. And so that was what I was doing on a beautiful Monday morning. And I was sitting there looking at pictures I had taken over the weekend. My family visited, and that was a lovely time. And I was wanting to post some pictures online on Facebook, and I got caught in that moment of thinking, I'm not quite ready to do that. I'm not quite ready to put words or images to my picture of what Easter looks like this year, what resurrection or new life or new hope looks like. And then I started to think about the ways in which the language I was using to describe that. I was using language of develop and process. I thought, where have I heard those words or those ideas before? And a memory came to mind that I hadn't thought of in a very long time. When I was growing up, when I was pretty young, my dad and I had a darkroom, had a place where we developed photos together as a hobby. And that didn't last a real long time, but it was something that my dad enjoyed doing, and he invited me into that time. And I remember learning about how to take the images and how to put them in the chemicals and how to wait for the image to develop. It's very different than our processes now with digital photography. But at the time, I learned about what it was like to wait for an image to develop, to be a part of that process of developing. It was a fond memory that I hadn't thought of in a long time, but God met me in that memory because I got to thinking about the ways in which sometimes our images, our experiences of resurrection and new life simply take time to process and develop. And we live in a culture that sometimes expects instantaneous results or expects us to be able to have words or images to post on social media almost immediately after we've had an experience. But if you're anything like me, sometimes it takes more time to allow God to work in our lives, to process what's happening. And so on Monday morning, I sat on my porch and I had my coffee and I thought about the experiences of Good Friday and of taking a stone and taking the sorrows of the world that I felt and putting them at the foot of the cross. Some of you did that along with us online or in person. And I thought about and processed the experience of sitting around tables on Thursday night and having amazing table fellowship. And I processed and thought about and allowed to develop in my heart and my soul the experiences of celebrating resurrection and new life together with many of you online or in our sanctuary on Sunday morning. And I realized those images, those thoughts about what does new life look like in my world and my life, those thoughts and images take time. So if you're like me and you don't have images that are worthy of putting on Facebook, know you're not alone. Know that God develops those, processes those over time. I'm out here today because if you joined us on Easter Sunday, you heard a little bit of my musings about this park and the ways it's helped me recognize new life in all kinds of forms. You'll notice the gazebo behind me isn't finished, and it's taking quite a while to finish. It'll be in its final form at some point, and it'll be ready for children to play under it, for me to join you from underneath it, for picnics to happen underneath it, for all kinds of new life to happen underneath it, in and around it. For now, it's unfinished. And God is meeting me in that image, that we don't have to have fully finished products or ideas or images of what resurrection and new life look like for us. We can just simply allow God to meet us in the idea that it takes time, and also allow us to meet us in those memories that come up. I'm grateful for that memory of sitting in a dark room with my dad, and grateful for the ways in which God used it this week to remind me that developing and processing take time, and that God promises to meet us every single part of that process. So wherever you are today, friends, know that you are not alone, that God is with you wherever you are in that process and that recognizing of resurrection and new life. And if you would love to have someone to talk to about where you are, always know that my door is always open. Our doors at church are always open. And if it's not too windy, I'm always happy to sit in the park and enjoy the sun and chat together. Go in peace, my friends.